But no, the next shot, guys, is our pop shot.
All right.
And we're going to go ahead and jump into the age of anti-intellectualism.
Whew.
Yeah. That period of time when people stop believing in science and people start believing in personalities more so than
Yes.
than logic and reason.
See, I like how you how this is this is a pop shot. Yes,
This is definitely a pop
shot. Yes.
And so what does that mean, and how far are we into this new age? And are we really into the new age? For me, I'm completely of the belief that we are in an idiocracy at this moment. At this very moment, we've entered into idiocracy, where like objective thought and reason is shunned.
Yes.
And in certain spaces, like hated.
Yes.
Like hated. You
Yes.
start speaking a certain way in certain parts of America now,
Yes.
you will be viewed as almost like how the Salem like women were when they would do something that was just normal.
Yes.
Like, witch trials.
Yes, you're talking about. At this point, you're talking about most of rural America.
Yes.
And how they believe that, if you have a college degree, that you are, of the system of the,
Bruh.
you are of the, it's like they see that as the enemy.
They do. They do.
Oddly enough, while the people they kind of place in power all come from Ivy League schools and all come from but
they bought their way there,
they did buy their way there.
Is anti-intellectualism new? I don't know, because maybe we valued degrees, but has a certain class actually had to like work to get there? I think that degrees are valued more for people in lower classes, middle class, lower middle class.
This is true.
In a sense that to make it out of a lower class, you have to have that degree. But
true.
I don't think if you are of a certain class and you are of a certain identity, you need to work as hard as that.
I think that's true.
That's very true.
And I think that humanity has swung between has pendulum between pro-intellectualism and anti-intellectualism historically, right?
Okay.
There's periods of time where our society, and I think even in ancient societies, it's like the belief in spirits and spiritualism and stuff was the kind of reasoning of the day. That wasn't too long ago for America.
Yeah.
Right? Probably 50s, 60s, like 70s. It was certain things you started to say. If you start speaking against, God or start speaking, anti-religious, that was grounds for almost stoning. Now, I'm not stoning, like outcasts and that type of shit.
But I think in the 70s you started to get a rise in people wanting that spiritualism, people wanting that hope, rather than people going to sources like going to India and trying to find religion in different places. And I think that we're starting to see that again, where people aren't really respecting, or not respecting, but people aren't looking to traditional methods of like education. People want that spiritual experience and that hope. Yeah,
definitely the 70s is for sure where the modern version of that comes from. The idea of, the suits being the enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like even on the college campuses, it kind of almost they almost looked at the elder college statesmen as kind of being the enemy because they didn't get it, man. And they're like out there, it's like we should sit in a circle and like vibe and kind of, so you could definitely see that.
But those anti-intellectuals were supporting human rights. That's a
they
difference,
were.
Right?
That's what I was about to say. So there was definitely a period of time, and I think every single epoch or era of time has percentages of everybody, right? Like there are anti-intellectuals, there's pro-intellectuals. There was a period of time where ingenuity, innovation, science, logic, reason was kind of like promoted and touted as a good thing. I can't tell you what period of time that is. Our producer Mandy would have to help us out with that. We got another producer in this thing, filling in for Tracy. We got Mandy in this thing.
But when you had the Romans like starting universities and colleges,
the Enlightenment
era,
look, okay, so there is a thing that you can kind of hit where Okay, so like, anti-intellectualism kind of spreads throughout other forms of, like, I mean, how we even move as a country. Like, there was an article talking about the idea of just how we don't even teach, like when it comes, like we as Americans, we are so specialized now because, school is kind of the, it's basically the means to an end now. So we don't even, basically, like when you go to college now, you take classes and you only have to take the classes that are like directly in your path.
In a way.
Whereas, before you would have had to take a majority of different types of classes, and then you would kind of specialize in what you're specializing in.
Well, they still. I mean, the first 2 years of college are
that
first
2 years.
But I mean, it's a bunch of shit, right? Yes, like, I mean, like it's refreshers, it's extra crap.
Yes.
And at first, I was very much so against those things. Mm-hmm. But with the way that some people in this nation have behaved,
yes,
and their complete misunderstanding of reason and science and logic, it's almost like we kind of got to sprinkle a little bit of pepper in there for, you know what I'm saying? It's got to be seasoned. The mind got to be seasoned
because,
just a little bit.
Back in the, like, you would have, I think at some point certain professions were touted so, highly because you would have doctors, and all the doctors also had to study different forms of philosophy and things like that. Yeah. Nowadays, you have a doctor who had to take one psych course, and but now he's a doctor now.
But I would still listen to that doctor over some person that doesn't have a degree.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I think that what ended up happening a lot of times here, though, is that you end up having, because we've seen it with friends of ours, where you then have the person who has the doctor, they think they're the smartest person in the room. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, you haven't actually studied any of this stuff we're talking about, but you believe that now that you have a degree that's higher than this degree, you and it's like, well, now because I mean, Google's everybody's friend, but
well, we in one of our past seasons we spoke about the ills of American education, and one of the biggest pieces is this lack of critical thinking being taught, like just absolute lack of teaching people how to think critically, and that includes understanding where your knowledge is in relation to everybody else's knowledge, the context of your knowledge. Knowing how to piece together somebody's brain does not equal you knowing how to build a car. It's not the same thing, right? And so we have that problem. But I think what we're seeing as far as this current age of anti-intellectualism is been fed and kind of grown from steroids shot by one party, right? Mm-hmm. It's like one party has consistently fed its base, boogeyman, fear, and just bullshit, to the point to where now anybody that sounds like, anything that they've talked about, like as far as that fearful person or that fearful institution or something, is now the boogeyman. Mm-hmm. So what's wound up happening is you have such a large swath of America, mainly the right, who they've been fed these lies and this propaganda and this BS. Yeah. And now when their kids go off to school and they come back a little bit more open-minded and a little bit more enlightened, now those kids are being indoctrinated. Yeah. And it's like, no. Your kid has now interacted with somebody who you've built up these preconceived notions with and found out that everything that you've built these preconceived notions of was a lie. Mm-hmm. They've interacted with people of different religions, of different sexual orientations, of different races, and found that, no, it's not exactly what the fuck you thought it was. Yes. And that is more truthful than your preconceived notions. Mm-hmm. But they can't seem to accept that. And so now university as a whole is a problem. Now we have to defund universities, and we have to stop them from there's a helicopter overhead. I don't know what the hell that's about.
They can't hear
that. But we're getting the wrap button though. So last point.
Okay, last point I'll make is that I think that it was really poignant, kind of like what like Neil deGrasse Tyson always talks about, when it's like, once you start, he was like, once you have a bunch of politicians who all have law degrees, he was like, in law school, all they teach you how to do is debate a point. They don't necessarily teach you what's the right point or the wrong point. Yeah. They just teach you how to debate whatever side it is. You know, you go to, you know, you have debate teams where it's like, it's not your point, it's not your job to prove, you know, it's just your job to prove that whatever topic I give you to argue about, you're just right about that topic. It's, you know, instead of trying to discover what is the right thing to do, your job is just to debate as hard as you can. And now we have a whole political system filled with people who all got degrees to just debate their point to the end. Yeah. Which is like, you know, and it's like, are they smart? Or are they just trained to like circle this issue until they get what they want?
Yeah. Right. Last point. You got any? If you ain't got any.
I mean, I just, you know, I do think Tobias's point is correct, but I also think that if you look nationally, it's just like there isn't even that debate. It's just like, oh, this is the truth, and then whatever is actual science is not. You know what I mean? like there are, you know, there are some politicians where you talk around the question, you get your point out, but you also appease the other side. You also make the you know, other constituents like think that you are actually
care about them a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't
that's how it's supposed to work.
You don't cast a whole side like you know away.
Which is what they've been kind of, you know.
Yeah.
It's like
I mean, that's how it's supposed to work. But
that's how maybe in Canada it works that way. I don't know.
Maybe Congress just needs to take a trip to Canada.
Exactly. And stay there and leave us the hell alone. Fuck somebody else's country up.
Oh man. All right. So Bias with the game winner on that shot.
I'm sorry.
All right, we're putting that shot down. Picking up the next one. Hey guys, we're this third shot, and this is really kind of a doom and gloom episode. I feel
why
bad.
do you do this?
I don't know why I do this shit.
We have a first guest on, and he's like, "Oh, welcome.
Everything up.
Welcome to 2020."
I thought the last section was supposed to be pop. Exactly. Happy,
that's what I thought.